This is Destiny. And to complete the ridiculousness, we have my Wrangler, also known as Destiny's Child, and we have my internet Wi-Fi inside, whose SSID is Son of Destiny. I am now full-time. It's been 1 week. I am currently parked at my friend's house because on Thursday, just under 3 days from right now, we will be going to Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, for about 10 days. And so what I wanted to do was take a video of, basically take an update of what the inside looks like right now, as far as what's where, some of the modifications I've done. So take you on a little tour. So here I'm just I was looking for some stuff, and then I ended up starting a reorganization routine. So I've got 3 big bins that go in there. I have 2 self-made wood blocks for driving up on, random pieces of wood. The box back there is a spare air filter, and there's a bunch of spare parts behind that for the engine and for the generator. Telescoping antenna, step ladder, broom, Swiffer sort of thing. My little grill. I've got 2, I think 3 chairs out there. My zero gravity chair goes inside as well. My tools all go in here, so they all fit in there pretty well. Nothing terribly exciting on the other side to speak of. There is one more bin on the other side. You can see there maybe has things like cups and paper towels, toilet paper, other Kleenex, things of that nature. So how about we take a look inside? First thing I'll note, onto the stairs, I'm keeping my other shoes and the gloves that I use for filling the diesel, because that gets pretty messy sometimes. And then I have the all the manuals that came with it. This is just a bag of plastic bags. I may relocate this or whatever, because there's some pretty good space in here to make use of, but I don't need it yet. Let's get this door closed because it is hot outside. All right. So, from the front cockpit perspective, I don't think a heck of a lot has changed here. So I have all the stuff that I use to make and break camp there, batteries there and here. I have way too many batteries between what I had here and what I had in the house, and when I combined, I just ended up with a ton of batteries. And then things like lighters and stuff like that, random bag and a hat. So plenty of room up here. This is an awkward space. The only thing I've managed to get up here is the mandolin. And this is currently empty. Testing out some 3M command strips hooks there. I don't really particularly actually like that location. I was hoping to hang my keys here. It's a little awkward to reach over to. So, but they're command strips, so I can relocate them and keep trying. Some changes I've made up front. You'll notice, perhaps if you watched the previous video, I don't have anything mounted up here anymore. Everything is down here, and that's because these 2 things that were up here, I had the RVI brake control panel here, and then I had the Easy Tire monitor here, suction cupped here, and the suction cups would fail after a week or 2. So I went for something a little bit more permanent. So the RVI brake 3, since that was magnetic mount, I had a plate on already. I just bought this Whiz Gear, I think a 6 or maybe 8 magnet. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 magnet. 10 or 12, anyway, 10 or 12 magnet thing. You can find that on Amazon. That's 3M VHB tape. It's relatively permanent. You can get it off with a lot of care and like a plastic putty knife. I have done that. And that creates a nice solid mount right here below the instrument cluster. It doesn't interfere with my view. This isn't terribly visible while driving, but it's visible enough. It lets me do the brake test when I launch for the first time. It lets me see if there is breakaway condition, I have noticed the display changes enough so that I visually can tell that the Jeep is braking. And of course, if there's a disconnect situation, breakaway situation, it not only alarms, but you'll see it. So I'm pretty happy with that location. I moved the easy tire over here, another WhizGear magnet, VHB tape mounted there. I've successfully removed VHB tape from this surface with a putty knife. So, but this is very strong. This isn't going anywhere. I shaved down the back of this thing where the previous mount clip kind of inserted into. I shaved it down to create a flat surface. Used some VHB tape. Put the plate on the back of this. Boom, done. There's no power connected to it. Once it's charged, it lasts plenty long enough for me to drive around on the batteries alone. I will permanently connect that to 12 volt at some point. And then my GPS remains over there. That's the one item that's still plugged into the cigarette lighter. I also hope to permanently connect that to 12 volts. Despite the fact that this has a USB connection in the back of it, it is not sufficient to charge it with USB. You actually need this 12 volt power source to do so. The power for the tablet goes to the USB down here. I have found that the USB here, the phone and everything else I plugged into it sees it, but then it says it can't charge from it, so I'm not sure what's wrong with it. I haven't bothered to try and figure it out. I do have a second cable plugged in here. Sometimes I'll plug in my phone for faster charging than the wireless pad can do if I'm not driving. I also use it to charge my USB, my Bluetooth headset, since that provides a much better audio situation if I'm going to be talking on the phone while driving. There'll be a separate video for the internet, but I've got a temporary situation with respect to running the wires out for the antenna there and a new router up here. So we'll have a dedicated video for that. And then this bin, I'll put any items like the GPS and things like that that I don't want to be out or visible or what have you when I'm parked. So that's what that's for. Again, these are not terribly useful, but I do have like an emergency LED light, so it can provide night light source or brighter source, flashing, all kinds of good useful stuff there. And then I have my first aid kit here. So as far as the cabin is concerned, actually, well, I did, if you notice, while I was panning around, I did do one of these silly things. I got that, for me, I'm short, I'm 5'3", so this was constantly riding on my shoulder, so I found this on Amazon. I also found this little clip here on Amazon that lets me adjust the location around my waist, so this provides a much more comfortable setup for me. I did that for both sides. But coming around here, brought that fan in from the home. I used to have just a tabletop fan. This kind of fits in that little corner nicely. It'll provide some good airflow that'll help me either run the air conditioning at a higher temperature or not at all, especially while boondocking kind of scenario. My Amazon Alexa is there, and Alexa, what time is it? So
it's 3:12 p.m.
She's happy. I think I covered in another video. I'm not sure if I had it fully set up, but I've got my computer monitor here since I'm basically a software engineer. I got my computer monitor mounted here, and so I take that monitor out and squat it here so I can sit here and work, or I'll pull it out and face it this direction, and I can I can stand here. I have a little tabletop mount not a mount, but just a tabletop adjustable tabletop item designed for holding a keyboard and a mouse, and so I can stand and work, which is fantastic. And what I'll do is I'll run the cables up to the computer. I'll put the computer there. At some point I'll have maybe a computer mount like on the wall or something like that, which would be pretty cool. So I've done that. Entertainment center hasn't really changed. All the items I've mentioned before, the Apple TV, the Chromecast, the Nintendo Switch, the Blu-ray player that came with the unit, are all in there, plus an HDMI switch. And what I did was, because that was we're talking 5 remotes, was I brought the Logitech Harmony 1 remote that I had in my house, brought it in here, reprogrammed it so I can use that to control everything. This isn't its permanent home. It's just kind of plugged in there and laying there. It works. It travels fine like this. It doesn't fall or anything like that. So good enough for now, but it's at some point I'll make that mounted or more permanent or something like that. All my booze, I bought this greatly. I mean, what a almost perfect match with the couch, but I use that as an ottoman and to store my booze in. And I had booze in the house too, so I've got all of those I have to figure out what to do with. And since we'll be traveling to across the border, I'm going to have to leave a bunch of this at home, so I'll be at their house and pick it up on the way back, since there's limits on how much you can have across the border. The two folks I'll be sleeping with will be sleeping on this bed, and I've got the air inflation device, whatever that's called, is inside here. And so they've got all this space here, they've got all of this space here, and they've got all of this space here for their stuff. You know, this is just some random things for just random things I haven't really figured out what to do with yet. And then all the bedding lives in this corner. And as far as this is concerned, this is actually amazingly empty. I have all my mugs, I have all my cups in here, both plastic and sort of insulated, more permanent. You know, these are disposable. These are more permanent plastic cups, koozies. I have 4 copper mugs here. I like Moscow Mules, and I have bits and pieces over here to my blender. I have all my blender parts in here. It all fits in here, which is fantastic. So I have everything I need. You know, dough blades and you know, single serve blending components here. Margarita salt kind of randomly here. Some coasters, and I have, this is a really nice insulated mug, usually used for coffee. I have my metal shaker over there for making drinks. All my straws. You know, this is great, and I still have all this space. I have the entire top row empty. Down here, I'm not making terribly use of great space here, but what's great is I have a lot of space in here. So I have my printer here, I have my food, wow, what is this called? Yeah, you know, food saver here. And I just have a couple of wireless keyboards and some other stuff here. This is all entirely empty. This isn't terribly great space, used space. There's, you know, plenty free here. This is some accessories and whatnot for my coffee machine, some bags for the food saver. So what you'll note here is it's a little bit crazy, but it's okay since it's just me. I'm not really a big chef, so it's not like I need a lot of surface area for preparation. So I have my Jura coffee machine here. I mean, this thing, it's big, but it's also awesome, and I'm glad I'm going to have that with me. I don't feel like I'm compromising on my coffee machine. I used to have the Nespresso here, and I wasn't happy with it for a number of reasons, including I just want to go to the store and get some coffee beans. I don't have to find those Nespresso pods. I was shocked at how hard that was, even in Myrtle Beach. Toaster oven. It's a big toaster oven, but this thing, you know, it's big, like I said, so you can put some good stuff in here. It doubles obviously as a toaster. I can cook things at high temperatures, like 425 I've mentioned in previous videos. I was unable to do fries in the convection oven here. That thing struggles at any temperature beyond 350 or so, maybe 325. So from now on, I'll be using this for all of my cooking, and this will just be a microwave, unless I'm going to do 2 things at the same time for some reason. So under here is sort of magical. So not only do I have my Instant Pot, I have my blender, the blender base. The blender also serves as the base for the food processor. So that's what gets me, you know, in addition to the stuff we saw earlier, that's what gets me a lot of really awesome drinks and things of that nature. So I did bring along a couple of my own cutting boards. I ended up not liking the cutting boards here. Really light use, You probably can't, maybe you can't, with light use, really deep scratches in this cutting board material. And I felt like I didn't want to continue to degrade these, since these are meant to be a little bit more permanent of an insulation. I don't want to have to replace these just because the cutting boards have worn out and have started holding, you know, food in the grooves and things that are being created. I still haven't figured out what to do with the paper towel holder. That's sort of the worst thing. I'm like, I could put it here. I'm not sure how good that would look, but boy, do I not want to drill into the cabinetry. I'm thinking maybe I'll figure out I'll create a thin flat surface here and screw that into that thin flat surface, and then I'll command strip mount this somewhere. So stay tuned for that video. It almost deserves its own video. It's been like a stupid theme this whole time. This drawer hasn't really changed much since I last covered it. This is what came with the new Aire, so I've just kind of slapped a bunch of stuff in here, and that is serving me well. This drawer is sort of a mess, and this needs some help. But it's got, well, you can see it. You don't need a narration of it. There's a ton of things in here. It's all accessible. It's just messy, but for now I'll be able to get by. And this really hasn't changed either. So all the bags and Reynolds wrap and all that sort of stuff and random, these things actually should go with the rest of them. Hot plates and something to measure weight with if I need to. This drawer, which I just actually had to repair, so I'll have I have a couple of pictures about that. But anyway, I got this really nice knife block. You know, I thought about maybe having a magnet mount thing here, but there's really no way to mount a surface to that. The knives would have to go somewhere too while traveling. I sure as heck don't want those just magnetically mounted while traveling. So this isn't the most efficient use of space, but it gives me all of my really nice knives and steak knives and all and whatnot all right here. I definitely had a challenge with respect to my spices. Still looking for something a little bit better. I got all of those in here, but I still have all of these little ones and these two things, and I still don't have all the stuff with me that I had hoped to have with me. But much better than I had. This drawer feels pretty well organized, at least. Like I don't have to go digging for stuff. So, you know, definitely better situation than before. As we move into the bathroom, the first thing I will note that I've done, command strips again. Mounted that up, get some stuff, you know, gives me extra storage up here, so I get some stuff up here off the floor, gives me, or the floor of the cabinet gives me some room for things down here. I just have towels and whatnot in here. You can't see it. There is a, what if, well, no. You can sort of see right here. There's a little strip of white. That's a label for an electrical box. I think that's the electrical box for the. I think it's labeled kitchen, but it's possible that electrical box is what controls or where the wires for the lights that are under here go. The earlier new Aire models, these lights are incorrectly wired or not wired at all. They do not work for me at all, for example. So I'm hoping that's where those wires go. So I'll have fun with that sometime. I talked about this previously at just command strip hooks for some additional towels. Hanging a towel here means you can't, it interferes with the switches here. So I always have my towel here. And then since there's going to be 3 of us, we'll each have our own spot for towels while we're traveling. And I had installed this little guy. Basically, everything you're seeing here is from Amazon. So I've got my shampoo, body wash, and there's a spot for hanging a razor or loofah or whatever. So that keeps that. So this is great because then I don't have to worry about putting the shampoo and body wash away when traveling. It's just always there and available, and it'll be great for when I'm traveling with my friends because now they've got their own spot for stuff. So bedroom. I've added a QI wireless charging pad for my phone. I mounted this. This was probably, I must have used 3M VHB tape. I've become a fan of that stuff. It just sticks, doesn't go anywhere. So my watch goes there. And as far as drawers go, the only thing that's not clothing, I've sort of created like an office drawer. So I have paper and just, random paper clips, rubber bands, whatever for office type supplies. All these other drawers are clothing, like a white noise machine, and I've got a bunch of bins. And the only thing that's really I've added here is my Roku from my house, and I was like, well, since I'm not using it, instead of putting it in storage, just put it here and plug that in. I've got my wireless thermometer in here. Most of these are actually just sitting in a box, but for example, channel 7 at 87 degrees there is in the inverter area. So I can keep eyes on that. I have seen that bay get up to 120 degrees, so I'm going to do something about the ventilation in that compartment at some point. In here, I should have mentioned real quick, so this chair right here is a nice cushion seat, really nice looking wood chair. It actually folds up, so I have two of them. So one of them is right here. So there's the second wood chair. Behind that is another tray table, and I have a small step ladder. I do have the bigger step ladder underneath. This one I might use just inside, if I need to reach something up above. Though I think I might pull it out because I don't think I'm generally going to need it. Got all my files there. That's the place where I put the keyboard and mouse if I'm going to stand. And I added, if I talk this in other videos, but I have the RVI Break 3 command center mounted there, and I got a 12 volt to USB conversion block here, wired that into the 12 volts here, made use, there's plenty of free spots here, so I made use of those. And the TPMS repeater is permanently installed there. And then on the other side, I added that little hanging bag, mostly for shoes and other kinds of things of that nature. A couple of bins here. The other thing I did here too is I command stripped this in too, so place for the Swiffer and the Swiffer wet jet. So that's good. I find the storage above the bed to be annoying to access. I put stuff up here that I just don't care about. These are the pillows that came with the unit that I don't care. I want to keep with the coach only because if I sell it, I kind of want to have all the original parts. But and I do have a couple of bins up here where I'm putting other stuff because this is still relatively reachable. I'm on the side of the bed versus over here is a little tough. But so I have a few bins up here full of random items that aren't used frequently. And I think that covers everything. So this is where I live. That's all the stuff that I care about and will be using on a daily basis as a full-timer. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And I will be documenting, like I said, the new router LTE antenna setup separately. I have done some electrical work with respect to the battery pack that I'll be doing, and I'll have a separate video for that. And there will certainly be more to come as we take our trip on to Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island. We are all thrilled and looking forward to that, so she'll be our home. Thanks for watching.